Good afternoon, everyone. It is New Year's Day, and it's a whole new year. It's 2018. So hopefully some of you have some new resolutions and goals to work towards goals to work forward or towards to? I don't know. So I know I do. Every year I try to sell more and more on eBay. I did have a goal of starting on Etsy last year, and I did end up doing that. And I think it's going pretty well. I don't have a ton of listings on there. At the moment, I only have 15, but I've sold 10 things so far. So I don't think it's been, a disaster. And some things have sold on Etsy that were not selling for me on eBay at all. So I consider that pretty successful. But I'm not going to drone on and on. I'm going to show you what I sold for all of December on eBay and Etsy. And I'll go from the beginning of the month to the end on both platforms. So, and if you don't know, I'm a super small time seller all month long, even during the busy season. I only sold 12 items total. I wish it could have been more, but I was not listing a lot. I was dealing with other things going on and, the holidays and all that. So I did my best, and that's all I can do, but I'm still pretty happy with my sales. I'm not going shopping at all. What I have is what I'm listing. I'm trying to get through my dead piles before the spring, because the spring is when all the great garage sales come out and everything's really cheap, and I can go find stuff that I think is amazing. So yeah, I'm just getting through all that, and hopefully I do it before then, because oh boy, do I have some stuff. But anyway, my first sale on eBay was this Bucilla Snowman and Woodland Friends Christmas tree skirt. It was a felt skirt that you would put together. This one was sealed, and the deal with this one was that I went to Goodwill, I think, just because I just wanted to go thrifting. I knew I already had some stuff, and I'm like, I just felt the urge to go out, and I went to the one Goodwill where I hardly ever find anything. It is almost always pretty terrible. But I found several things that day. Maybe because it was a slow day, I don't know. And I was digging through a box they had by the decor or whatever, and I found two of these Bucilla felt skirts, and you kind of like sew it together, sew the applique on there, and they were $3 a piece. This one was unopened, and the other one was opened. This one was smaller than the other one, though. I wish it could have been the opposite way around, but yeah, this one was 36 inches, and yeah, it went for $30. I bought it for $2.99, and the other one, the reason this picture is so crummy is there's a lot of like glare on it. I just wanted to get it up before Christmas. I got it up about almost a month before Christmas, and I was like, if I don't get this on soon, or maybe late November, I think it was actually, and I was like, I need to get this up before, the season is over. I got this one up, but because the other one was open, I couldn't get it up really in time. I got it up in like almost the middle of December, and of course it did not sell, because for these things you kind of need a little time. But this was a tip from another YouTuber, and yeah, so it went from a $3 thrift find to $30 sale plus the shipping. The next thing, this was kind of crazy. I don't know if I'd pick it up again, but I found it like maybe in the summer, and it was $4 in the jacket section, and I looked it up, but there's no really solds on it. I looked up one that was unsold, and it had like a crazy like $70 price on it, But once I actually got it, and it took me a little while to actually put on eBay, um, it's like nobody was really looking at it, and so I just quickly started dropping the price on it, and I took it down from like 70 to 30 because I just wanted to get it out of there, and yeah, so I bought it for 4, sold for 30 plus the shipping. So it wasn't like a dud or anything. I don't know, it was just kind of a boring sale to me. I guess maybe if I found it again for cheap, but I wouldn't pay $4 for it. Let's see. Okay, this was kind of a cool sale, only in that I did sell it for $8 plus the shipping, which is nothing really to write home about. But if you look at these pictures, I'll go through them slowly. Like right here, doesn't that look like filthy to you? It's because it's wax, and it was made in West Germany, and this was the only one I found in a group of ornaments in a bag. Same time I found that Busilla felt skirt. And I saw some Kurt Adler ornaments in there, and I knew the name, and I thought those would sell well. But these got put kind of late on eBay, and I did manage to put this one up in like the best lighting I could get for my lamp, and but I just didn't think it would sell. It just looked gross to me, and it was made of wax, and the wax was melting on several different places. It had these flowers on each end of it, but yeah, and so I put it up, and it started getting watchers immediately. I was like, what's going on? And it sold within a week. After several watchers, and the person that got it, they were like, I love it. What's its story? Where did you get it from? You know, do you have any more or whatever? And I'm like, sorry, this is the only one. And I didn't want to say, oh, I just picked it up from Goodwill. I just said I got it and a bunch of other ornaments, and I decided to put this one up for sale. So for whatever, like, I know a bunch of these West Germany wax ball ornaments, if you get a bunch, this may be a bolo, but if you have several, they will go for a lot of money. Like, I've seen a pack of them for like $80, but all I had was this one. But I will keep an eye out for these in the future because these go for really good money. Like, one ornament, one crappy vintage ornament for $8 that looked dirty. It just blew my mind. But anyway, moving on. This was nothing crazy. Thankfully, it was the last frozen fleece throw I had, and I had several of them that I bought like 3 years ago or so, before I quit my last job. And I bought them all for like $4, which was, I bought like 4 of them for about $4.50, and they just didn't sell very quickly. I thought they would be a slam dunk, and they just did not sell. I sold one locally for like $10, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore, so I just let the other ones ride on eBay, and thankfully I'm done with these. I don't have any more. So yeah, so $4.50 ended $13, but that's with free shipping. So didn't make very much off of that, but I'm glad they're out. This is kind of cool. I saved this from my parents' garage sale. It was a vintage record holder. I called it Mid-City Modern. Mid-City. We have in the city I live in, there's a mid-city, so yeah. Anyway, mid-century modern. It was labeled 1 through 60. I thought it was cool, but I don't have vinyl. I don't even have a record player, so I salvaged it from my dad, who he was just gonna put in a garage sale, and I was like, people sell these on eBay, so put it up for 30. I did wait quite a while. The garage sale was earlier this summer, and but yeah, this Christmas it finally sold for 30, so I got it for nothing, and it sold to someone in New Orleans, so they didn't pay a whole lot in shipping, and they got it quickly. So I guess they were happy with it. I don't know. This was neat. I got it for $1. It was like really the pictures didn't really do it justice because it was so pretty, like on the top, and I eventually wanted to redo the picture on this because I thought I could get more of like the colors, because from the front it just looks mostly black. Uh, and if you put your iPhone inside, it could play music from like an auxiliary. You just had to put like a battery in it or whatever. I showed the battery pack working. Unfortunately, the person that bought it wanted me to ship it quickly, I'm assuming for Christmas, and they bought it on like, I don't know, the 17th or 18th, and I sent it as fast as I could the next day. But USPS just, they're swamped at Christmas time, so some things made it, some things didn't. I keep track of tracking on pretty much everything I send out, and it got there the day after Christmas. Oh well, they didn't complain as of yet, so I'm I'm glad that someone finally bought it. I just feel bad that they didn't get it in time for Christmas. So this one I'm going to talk about for a bit. I did sell it for 70 plus the shipping. This is a rare movie starring Sean Penn, Crispin Glover. So you can see there's some water damage on the label there. The label, I did put that it had discolorations, looks like, and so does the case. The case looked kind of bad, but so this was a movie that came out in the late 80s, I want to say, like around the time when like Fast Times with in Ridgemont High came out, and before Sean Penn became a big star. And it was never put out on DVD or anything. You can get a DVD of it if you email the director, which is Trent Harris. And I didn't know anything about this movie. My dad picked up this and another Crispin Glover movie, Ruben and Ed, which are both really rare. And I just had no price to put on this. My dad was saying it was really rare and that Netflix had a documentary about it, which I couldn't find, by the way. I don't know. I don't think it's still up there. But it's called like the Beaver Trilogy 4, and I want to see it. And I wanted to see this movie, but I didn't have a VCR at the time. And actually, for Christmas, I got a VCR, of course. But my dad had watched it. He said it worked. I think he was a little disappointed in that it sold for only 70, because this VHS is like extremely hard to come by. And so maybe I should have put a little higher price on it, like at least 100. But like I said, I had no scale of where to, what to sell it for. So, but I'm happy with the 70 plus the shipping. Went to Florida. These ornaments, I also got from my dad. He had went to a Goodwill. He loves finding stuff for me to sell. And he really, I told him, I said he should retire and just do this for himself. But uh, anyway, yeah, I had them for a while since before last Christmas. I kind of just wanted them out of my store. But if you have this entire set, kind of like the West Germany ones, if you have this entire set, like 79 or 78 through 80, whatever, you can get like almost $100 for it or so, between 70 and 100. But I only had these 3 random ones, and they weren't even consecutive, so I just charged $10, and the guy was really happy with them, and he thanked me for getting them out the door in time. So, next thing is, okay, these video games, I'm struggling to say, figure out what to say about them. But first of all, they all worked. I did have a system to test them on, but the N64 that I have, both of them, won't work on either TV I have. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. So I tested it at my sister's. They all did work, which I showed, but I really should have put the game near the TV. But the game system was like on the floor and the TV was up higher, so I just took a picture of the TV. Um, but yeah, this was in a lot of video games that I got off a guy from Facebook Marketplace. He wanted $200 for like two N64s, and they both had like little memory cards in them, and a bunch of N64 games, some regular Nintendo games, and a couple Atari games. And one of the Atari games I wanted for myself. Anyway, it's a long story, but what I'm trying to say is, like, I sold these for 20 plus the shipping to a guy in, like, Texas. So he got them pretty quickly. He gave me good feedback, but I just don't think I'm really getting, I don't know, my money back on that deal. It was a bad deal on my end. I shouldn't have paid so much, and I won't do it in the future. It was kind of like a lesson learned, but I'm just glad that I'm getting my money back for these games, and hopefully at least one of the systems soon. I'm going to keep one of the systems, and keeping one of the systems is good on its own because I can test games in the future. Unfortunately, some of the games that I got from this guy, I could not get to work. So, it was a bad deal all around, and, but I know better in the future, and I can at least get something. Anyway, moving on to Etsy sales, I've got 3 of them here, and one I'll show you as an issue I had. I sold this really cool Marvel shirt. This is actually the last thing I sold on Etsy. I have them backwards, I guess. But it was just Incredible Hulk. Really cool vintage 1997 graphics. This probably could have sold for a little bit more. And I'm so glad it sold on Etsy because I had it for less on eBay. I had it for like $20, maybe with free shipping. And on Etsy, I had it for 30 plus the shipping. So I made more on Etsy for it. So I got very lucky there. But it had some underarm, what I call discolorations. They're barely there. I did wash it, and some of it came out, but that was kind of gross. So this shirt did take a little while to sell. However, I don't see a lot of Marvel pre-Disney shirts on eBay or anything. It's real, like, I searched extensively. I see a lot of retro-looking ones, like, that are newer, but I don't see a lot of 90s Marvel shirts. So, I sold the Spider-Man one last month for the same price, $30, and I sold this one even with underarm stains, so I'm really happy about that. Anyway, next one, Ninja Turtles sealed Burger King. This was really small, and I kept hoping like the person that bought it understood how small it was. I probably should have put like a measuring tape next to it, but I assumed that they knew that if it was a Burger King thing, that it wasn't very big. It was a bike tote, like you put on the front of your bike. But yeah, and it was sealed, so it came with all like the paper goodies inside, and it was trying to get you to buy like the new Turtles at the time, which was Turtles 3. Thought that was cool. And it also showed you the other Burger King Kids Club merchandise. And I got this for less than, like, around 50 cents or so. Same as I got that Marvel shirt, same place, this geeky garage sale they advertised as. And so, I got a ton of stuff at that garage sale. That was awesome. I'm pretty much just about I'm basically all out of stuff from that garage sale, except for some Super Nintendo games, which are still on sale. Anyway, so yeah, from 1993, made $15 plus the shipping, which is more than what I would have made on eBay, because I had it as free shipping. Anyway, last thing, this was like one of the banes of my existence. Because I had it for so long. I had it for like 2 years. I picked it up at a Goodwill, and I paid way too much for it. I paid $15 for it. I was hoping they would charge me like a book price, but they had a price tag on it that said like $14.99, and I thought it was super cool and that it would go for a lot of money. And so I think I had this for like $50 or $60 at first, and slowly through the months I dropped the price less and less and less. It was sealed except for like some, the opening right here was torn. Other than that, the inside had not been touched, had all the original stickers on there and everything. But yeah, sadly I paid $15, but within like 2 weeks, maybe even less, of putting it on Etsy, I had it cross-posted on both eBay and Etsy. It sold on Etsy for $25. So Etsy came in the clutch again and sold it for me. I was so happy it sold. Anyway, so that's all my sales. This last thing I'm just going to show you, I showed it in my last video in November. It went to Venice Beach, California, and it took a month to get there. They bought it sometime in November, and I shipped it out the next day, and after a week, I noticed that even though it was like priority, I noticed that it had not gotten there. And so I messaged the buyer, and maybe I shouldn't do this. I don't know what other people do, but messaged the buyer, even though they hadn't messaged me, and I was like, "Hey, I know your shirt hasn't gotten there. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna check with the post office on Tuesday." So I actually ended up checking with them like the next Wednesday when I could, and they were like, "Yeah, it's in transit." Which I had stood in a really long line just to find out it was in transit, which Etsy itself was already telling me it was in transit. And so I was kind of upset about that, and but I do know that sometimes if things are stuck, that if you ask the post office about them, magically it'll become unstuck. And that's exactly what happened. Like that night, I checked at about 9 something, and it started showing up in tracking again after not showing up for over a week, almost 2 weeks. It showed up. So I guess I want to mention that as a tip. Like, if you ever see something stuck, go to your post office and waste some time and ask them, like, "Hey, do you know what's going on with this?" They might even tell you what you already know, but because they look into it, it might actually show up. That's happened to me twice now. So anyway, that's it. I hope everyone has some great sales for the new year and has had some great sales for December. And that's it for now. Bye.